We got parts on parts on parts. First things first, we got a shifter. We got a shift cable. We have a clutch lever somewhere and clutch cable. So this is a little like Hydra e-brake that I'm gonna use for my shifter. It's like full on cable, so it flexes and everything, but I am able to mount it somewhere and it's gonna be able to shift for me, and also had a little Heim joint that is gonna work for me. So we're gonna pull this off of that brake and we're gonna fit it in there somewhere, see where it fits. There's not a crazy amount of room, so gonna have to figure that out, but we're gonna start with that, and then hopefully my my clutch cable's long enough. Also, I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but I got new flanges because my other ones wouldn't fit. So I got flanges and axles because it's cheaper to do it that way than buy the axles to fit the flanges I had, because they're just rare, I guess. So we're gonna start with this. I got some stuff I gotta clean up and get the cart out of the way, get everything out of the way of the cart so I can start fitting this stuff. But let's get into it. We got a lot of stuff to do. Well, for starters, I found my clutch cable, or my clutch lever and cable that I was looking for, and this is what I'm gonna do with my lever. For now, I do have the clutch pedal down there, but I'm trying to figure out the hydraulics of that, so that's gonna be later on. I'm just trying to get everything done. We're gonna start with this here like this, and when I was sitting in there, I felt like the seat's a little too far forward, so I'm gonna start by moving that back, probably like a couple inches right here. So we'll see how that goes. It's gonna give me like maybe an inch or two more, which could be a lot, who knows. We're only gonna see when it does do it. When we do move it, I am gonna just cut these and see if I can move it back and not have to make new beams going across, so hopefully that works out. But after that, then we'll really be able to get everything set up and make a plate for my shifter. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use the same beams that are in there right now, because I do have a little sawed, and as you see, that just fell. So that's what the problem is going to be. So I do have the tubing to make more of those somewhere over there, and the pieces that are on that, we'll be able to reuse those for something else if we need to. So it's not that big of a deal, but I'll get the hole saw and everything out, and yeah, we'll get everything set up, get those set up, because the seat's the first thing that has to be done before I could put my shifter in, because I need to be able to see where I'm sitting and if the shifter's going to be functional or not where it's sitting at. So we'll get that done, and then we can hop back into the rest of the stuff. So everything's in and tacked. Like I said, it's about 3 inches back from where it started at. I don't want to go much further than this. I probably could tuck it back all the way to the bracing there, but this is where I think my radiator's gonna go, so I don't want it hitting that. If I change my mind and figure out a different spot for it, we'll go from there. But I also think I have it off-centered a little bit to this side, which I don't know is a big deal because my shifter's gonna go on that side of the seat, so that gives me a little more room. Might mess with my center of gravity, but I don't know. We're pretty low, everything's pretty wide. Hopefully it'll be fine. If not, can always move the seat back over. It's not that big of a deal, but now we can get everything fitted in where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna get that vacuumed out and sit in there and see if it made a difference having that 2 inches. I really hope so, but yeah, we can get the shifter hooked up in there. I also have this foot lever that I'm gonna hook up to the engine so that I can cut it and weld a tab on it to be able to hook that shift cable up to. It is gonna be backwards, so I wanted shifting forward to be upshifting, but that's gonna be downshift. Just kidding, it's backwards. Forward is, I'm so messed up right now. So if I have it set up that way, forward is gonna be upshifting. Okay, forward's gonna be upshifting and backwards is gonna be downshifting. I wanted it the other way, but with how this sits on the engine right here, that's where it's gonna attach, and my cable can't go over the top of that, so it's gonna have to sit that way. Might mess me up a couple times, but sooner or later we'll figure it out. But let's get that started. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get that started and finally do that. I'm just yapping now. So I got my bracket all made up down there. I'm gonna trim this corner so that I don't like cut myself on it. But it's all drilled and everything. Seems like it's in the right spot. The next thing I have to do is first of all set you right there. And then I have to make a bracket that bolts into that. Because this is gonna go through there into that hole to be able to shift back and forth. So we're gonna put it right in the middle there. And those two nuts right here, I need a bracket to be able to bolt to there and then come off so I can tighten it out here. So that way when I do shift this lever, it holds here and it's just moving that instead of this whole thing. So we're gonna cut up some pieces there and then we'll get this all attached. This is a lot smaller than this hole right here. So I'm either gonna drill a new hole in it that's a little bit lower, because the other problem is how short that is. So we'll figure something out. I know they make a nut that like can go inside of there and twist onto that. So maybe that's what we'll try to do. And maybe that'll stiffen it up a little more. But we'll figure that out. And if I have to buy a new Heim joint up here, I'm not too worried about that. Also, I can drill out this piece and just get a regular bolt for that. So not worried about it. But we'll get that bracket made up. And then we'll move to the other side where it hooks up to the engine. %, wasted a bunch of time, did a bunch of unnecessary stuff that I didn't have to do, but I believe this looks good if I can get it out of the vise. This is what I'm talking about, waste of time. I traced out everything on the shifter itself to kind of make it as symmetrical as possible, and then we added some posts off of it, 1 3/4 long, then drilled a hole on the other side so that my shift cable can go through that. Everything seems pretty centered and this bolts up. Everything looks good. So that's that. I'm gonna let this cool down because it's really hot, but once this is cooled off, we'll get it bolted up to my shifter itself, and then we'll get the shifter bolted into there. We'll run the cable back and see how I need to cut this foot shifter that I have to make it to where I can attach it over there and get the shift linkage attached to the engine. The cable's hooked up and everything. Got it tested and all that. This is the bracket that I was building, so this could stay sturdy in there. Nothing's moving there. I still got to put a bolt in there so that doesn't come off, but it's routed back there. Got some extra cable and it comes down right here. The only problem I see with it is there's like 80 miles of play in it somehow. And I have no idea how, because if you look right here, this will move from there to there before it starts engaging anything. And it doesn't move over there. And if you come over to this side, it also like doesn't move there. So it's moving everything that it needs to, pulling in and out. It's just not engaging and disengaging on the other side. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that. I might have to scrap what I did there and make like a hard line or something. Instead of having a cable, I just run piping or something back to there, which I mean wouldn't be terribly hard because we just come off of up there, come behind the seat, do a 90. It's just keeping everything straight that's gonna be the problem. But we are done with that clutch cable and everything. Well, not the clutch cable, but the shifter, because I did get a clutch cable and it is not long enough, and it also doesn't fit right here, so that's a problem. So next thing I'm going to do is work on my front bumper, and I've been needing to do this for a while, so I'm just gonna do it now while I figure everything out back there. I'll think about it, so let's get into that. got everything figured out with the bumper here. Took me a little longer than I thought it was gonna, because I didn't realize how far in it would come, so all the measurements were off. And I don't think it's 100% symmetrical, but it is pretty good there. I think I am gonna put another beam right in the front that comes out and up, so it has a little more structural integrity to it, but I don't have any more tubing to do that. So we got a decent amount of stuff done this weekend. Wish we could have gotten more done, but there's only so much you can do, and I got to go back to work tomorrow. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you guys next week.